Alright, and we're back. I guess this will be another part here, maybe part two. I don't know. We're gonna go to East Los Santos. I guess it'll be part two or three, depending upon if I can actually get the footage recovered or not. But anyway, here we go. Oh, shit. No, I know it's not sane, but I don't care. Continue. I got a big boy computer. Awesome. Alright. I'm gonna go as the ball is. And, no. We are going to, I guess we're going to go in the settlement. Oh shit, they're already shooting. Machine gun time. They're already losing ground pretty fast, so that's good. Alright, here we go. Oh shit, there they are. So it's basically green versus purple. You'll know who's who by whoever's yelling Spanish and whoever's yelling in English. Pretty much. Now the controls in here are a little bit better, but they're still not great, so at least this thing actually works compared to the proper like PC port, if you even want to call it that. Because at a certain point with old games, if you actually have too good of a computer, it just won't work at all. It'll also just have weirdly, blocky fences. Yeah, guys, obviously having worse graphics and shittier looking games with horrible frame rates and god awful textures is a preferable experience to that shit just working right, you know? No. If you do your job right, nobody'll know you've done anything at all. They took that one pretty thoroughly. I'm going to go back. We're going to take a shit on this guy. Alright, we're going to push in. We go for the settlements. Oh, there they are. Smoke. Smoke them out. Aim for the driver. Bye, motorcycle. I don't want to fucking inspect the gun. Let me shoot it. They're throwing grenades. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's another thing with Battlefield is spraying and praying with the machine gun. And then just, kind of hoping that you're able to hit them properly. Because if you don't, yeah, your ass is toast. Alright, I'm going to go, engineer with the Mac 10. I'm going to head back to the bridge. Imagine they're going to be around this corner. Oh, fuck. Yeah, they see me. Oh, I missed. This one doesn't have a sight on it. Why? Alright. Oh, I don't know where the fuck the model ends and begins. He's stuck. I can't even kill the dude on the turret. Fuck. Let's go anti-tank. That one was pretty good when I was messing around with it on this map. Yeah, we're gonna go... Oh, fuck. They've taken the bridge. Alright, I have a bazooka. Let's give this shit a shot. Oh, they're already coming in. The fuck out of the way, asshole. Oh, there's this dickweed. Goodbye. Love it when the Call of Duty animations in the game still can't fucking work. Actual Modern Warfare 2019 works better than this. Oh no, that guy's on my team. Sorry, I can't exactly tell. They all look the same. Goodbye. Goodbye. There goes another car. Let's see what he's got. He's got this. Goodbye. There's no toggle crouch, but there is a toggle prone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Alright. Medic it is. Clearly it's gonna fucking stay that way too, because this actually seems to be what I'm good at. Hell yeah. Alright. Goodbye. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's the assault. Alright, not gonna do that. Fucking just drew a cartoon outline around him. Sweet. I need like an actual team over here if I'm gonna take these guys out. Does any of these guys have ammo? Yo, Busta, you got some ammo. No, I take it he doesn't. Fuck. He fucking switched over the turret. I couldn't see him in time. Squeal. Assault. Alright, off I go. This guy's a little stuck, but he fucking killed me. Excellent. Okay, try that again. Anti-tank. I'm just gonna blow him up with a rocket launcher. Oh good, the reload animation doesn't play sometimes either. Very highly polished mod we have here, sir. Anyway, off we go. Wherever the fuck I'm going, I don't know. I'm gonna go to the pizza place because clearly trying to go for the settlements has resulted in me being murdered about 7 times. I found the best strategy for this map is the same strategy for ye old Battlefield Hardline, where instead of actually playing the game, what you do is you go around town basically capturing all the shit in the car. If you can find a car. Oh, alright. Well, I found a few cars over here. Boom. Ah, shit. I missed. This gun is not an effective enough weapon at that range. But I'm not exactly being given many options here, so I'm going to go for this control point and hope they don't shoot me. There we go. Back capping them. They took our bridge. I'm going to take their pizza. Oh shit. Grenade. Fuck you, I shoot you with a rocket launcher and you still don't fucking die. Damn it, they're taking it back. Contesting the area. Well, that wasn't exactly very effective, now was it? Does this thing have infinite ammo? Oh lord, that frame rate. Okay. Well, that was not exactly the most helpful of things, unfortunately. Gas station. I'm gonna make a run for it. Go find a car and try to steal. I'm gonna steal a car and see if I can go take the gas station. Son of a bitch. A little laggy here. I think this is the lag gun. I need to steal the CJ's four-wheeler. Time to run. Run him over, that is. Son of a bitch. Alright, new plan. Grab the car and fucking... That is not the plan there, asshole. Let me just commit seppuku here real quick. That was not part of the plan. Thank you. I said I'm going to go and get a car. And then I'm gonna drive the car. Give me the car. You fucking Asian drivers don't know how to drive for shit. That's how you drive, motherfucker. There you go. So if you can help it, you don't want to be in one spot too long, or they'll fucking take notice. Goodbye, bitch. How you doing there, fucking defective edition GTA? Alright, off we go. Okay, stay there, buddy. I'm gonna take a few shots at them with my grenade launcher. Boom. It's time to run. Alright, off to the pizza place. Goodbye. Gonna ram him. I guess I rammed him alright, but I didn't specify if I'd be ghost riding it, literally. Alright. I do like the variety of guns they have in here, that's pretty good. This map's also pretty big. So that's pretty cool. That's just kind of the thing with Battlefield is just there's a lot of downtime. Like usually that's not the part that anyone likes to admit, but yeah, there's a lot of just fucking downtime. The fun part is where you and your boys are working together to, take down whoever it is. Usually Russia. Why is it Russia? I don't know, dog. I don't fucking make these games, but apparently it's Russia. Or China. Or sometimes, if you're lucky, North Korea. If they're really feeling so bold today, they're gonna go North Korea. Pretty good, though. I think usually these games are pretty fun. Though Call of Duty kind of had it, more where it's at, simply because the whole game still works offline, so even if they shut down the servers or whatever, well, you could always just go and play the bot modes, usually. There would be something for you. If they didn't have the whole game, they would usually have a decent chunk of it. Or you could easily just get a mod that would on the computer, which makes it pretty fun to go back and play. Call of Duty 4 especially was very good with the amount of mods and the amount of content that people had added. Especially there was a few Star Wars mods I messed around with. Call of Duty Galactic Warfare was one. It was pretty fun. I think Battlefield 2142 also had a Star Wars mod, but I had seen and actually played a Battlefront Halo mod, which was pretty good. Alright, so since these assholes have no idea what they're doing, actually, I'm going to take this car. We'll see this guy will get in. Alright, excellent. Come on in, bud. Alright, we're going to load up the wagon. Get in, bud. Come on, loser, we're going to the mall. Fuck you then. You'll be walking. You get no pizza, bitch. Oh shit. That I'm not unhappy with that one. That one was funny. But anyway, yeah, I found a Halo Battlefront mod. I'm gonna probably check that out too, because the mods for these like 20-year-old games are pretty good. Both Battlefield and Battlefront have pretty excellent mods. You know, including weird shit like this, where they've just, you know, done whatever the fuck this is. I gotta stop these guys from taking our base. Can't let you slide there, Ryder. Get on the ride, bitch. Or don't. Alright. There we go. Triple kill. I'm gonna go for the settlements. Taking the Mexican settlements here. I claim this land in the name of Spain. The Spanish Inquisition. No one ever expects it. Knock knock, motherfuckers. I'm just gonna slide on by. Bye bye. Alright. Doing some smooth baby driving here. Going back for another round. Vehicular manslaughter. Oh, that didn't kill him. He's just along for the ride. No, I didn't hit terminal velocity just yet. Son of a bitch. There I did. Yep. Well, I shouldn't have said it. I spoke too soon. Alright. Back to the Hostess settlements to go give the Grove Street foundation repair. Alright. It's gaming time. I'm gonna go over there and ram him with the car. This dude has a fucking RPK. Shoot him. There you go. We're gonna steal their shit. Alright. Taking control of the control point. We're gonna ram them. Nope, we're gonna fucking die in 3 shots. Truck was actually just made of paper mache. Fuck's sake. Alright, they're coming. Oh, I missed. Try that again. Boom. Oh, shit. They're gonna kill me. No, they're not. Goodbye. I love the tires exploding, too. It's pretty good. Thank you, sir. That's really handy. Just line them up and fucking shoot them. There you go. Goodbye. Throw a grenade at him. This UI is a little buggy. Like right now it says I have a smoke grenade selected when I'm shooting an AK-47. No shit. Call of Duty. That's how it works, see? Call of Duty. Call of Duty. There you go. Call of Duty. Alright, we got that. We got... I think this is the anti-tank, so that might actually be very helpful when I try to shoot this guy with the rocket launcher. There we go. Goodbye. We're just going to stand here and barrage them with missiles. Say about there. Yep, called it. Fuck, they got another car, don't they? No, it's a broken car. Alright. Missed. Alright, it's getting out of hand. I gotta run back. Goodbye. I gotta kill one of them and steal their bag. Oh fuck, that's another car. Thank you, sir. Is anyone over here? Oh, there's this guy. He's just gonna fucking sit there? Let's ride, motherfucker. Need a bigger gun. Or this. Get wrecked. Hold on. What's this? I'll take it. Oh, shit. I'm gonna have to take it to go. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Counting on it. Lay down some landmines. Bazooka. Boom. Time to run. I'll hold the line as best I can, but I'm gonna have to retreat. They have cars. If they have cars, I can't stand a chance against them. Goodbye. Oh, there we are. Shoot it with the bazooka. Boom. Goodbye. Oh, gotta reload. Goodbye. This is kind of a fever dream in a way. It's like, what if the military shooting trend of the early 2000s and 2010s um, bled into the PlayStation 2? If you want that kind of more directly, I would say take a look at Gameloft's old mobile games. They're pretty fun too. Like they're all old abandonware titles, but um, if you ever seen that canceled Dark Knight Rises game and you wanted a real one, well, they did make a mobile game of it, and it's actually surprisingly fucking good. I am not kidding when I say that mobile gets the short end of the stick so many fucking times because of a really shitty start by a few crappy companies that tended to do, bad shit. But nowadays you can find so many great abandoned, totally free mobile games that are awesome. And even ones that are, just fine. Like you can go download them from the App Store or the iOS Store or whatever. The Google Play Store. That's the one. Or the App Store. And there are tons of great ones. Mostly they tend to go a little more like, with demons and doom and spooky shit are where the good ones are. But otherwise, yeah, it's kind of just unfortunate that mobile games get the short end of the stick. It's kind of a part of my life that I didn't realize was such a big part until I had kind of understood the gravity of them taking it away. Um, in the 2010s, nobody really knew what the hell the next big thing was going to be. So a lot of companies were just kind of throwing shit at the wall to see what stuck, basically. And a few of them made some really cool shit, like Pixel Gun. Pixel Gun was a game I used to play the absolute hell out of. Pixel Gun 3D. I don't know why they called it Pixel Gun 3D, but it went free, I think, about like 2014. I got an iPad mini, and I saw this cool game on the App Store, alongside a few others. I was just like, you know what? Why the hell not? And about 5 years later, I was still playing the thing because it was still pretty good up until they decided to just straight up ban everybody. And I was like, what would I do? I didn't even know I'd done nothing. They just banned everybody under I don't know, the suspicion that everybody in the game was cheating because they started adding in pay-to-win shit. And it was just my one game that I really liked. Nowadays, I don't really tend to stick to one game and then just no life it anymore because I've seen the dangers of that and how it, with say Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone, tends to just leave no room for retrospection. You must enjoy this thing here and now. There is no time for later because we have designed it to be destroyed. Why would you want to buy something that's not made to last? It's just a waste of money. It's not like food, right? Food you require, but food isn't made to last. You eat it, maybe it tastes good, maybe it don't. You move on with your life. You don't really think about good food you've had unless the chef or, whatever the hell you were buying was exceptional or above average. Or usually I don't. I tend to think of food as just, I need to eat this. I'm not particularly picky as to it unless it is bad. Or I don't like the taste of it. Meanwhile, with games are art, the way I see it. It's culture. I don't think that this culture that I was part of deserved to be just so unceremoniously taken out back and so abruptly taken out back and just shot, basically, because some dude in a suit said so. But, that's the way that business works, and it sucks. It sucks to deal with. I really did enjoy a lot of mobile games, but it wasn't until COVID that I got back into gaming, simply just because of how terrible my life was growing up. Um, games that look bad, I don't have any real attachment to outside of, say, playing games on my iPad. So, I mean, I can understand where people are coming from with the whole PlayStation 2 thing, but, like, you wouldn't want to actively go out of your way to make a game that looks bad unless the point of it was to make it run on basically anything, right? You can make this run on a fucking toilet bowl or a toaster. In that case, if you want to make your game have shitty graphics that look like that, yeah, I got it. I understand. But these days, and even like in the days of fucking 10 years ago when every game and their dog was starting to just look exceptional, there's really nothing that, you know, developers have as an excuse to make their games look shitty anymore. Like, oh, it's nostalgia. I don't remember these games because they looked awful. I remembered them because they were fun and creative. I remembered them because, nobody had done mobile games. I remembered a game like Nova 3 because, not because it looks like shit, but because who the hell was making games like that to that point? No one. Or if there were people making games to that point like that, they sure as shit didn't wave around, a high budget like that to where it's basically just Crisis 2 on an iPad. Mind you, with like Wii level graphics. It just looks like a Nintendo Wii game, but you could take it on the go. That's awesome. That's a really good innovation. I love that idea. Why should games be stuck and restricted to a box at your television or your computer? I don't think that should be the way it is, because you would think at some point technology would advance and this stuff would get lighter and smaller, and I think mobile was just a very natural and kind of forward step in that regard, which is actually why I like the Steam Deck a lot. But it's just kind of a shame to see that not enough people are doing that kind of thing with technology. Valve is just kind of an outlier in that regard, where hey, maybe it was kind of a bright idea to properly compete with mobile stuff by making something that's, able to fix an active problem that people have, as well as just being a good and pleasant operating system and experience. Like Linux, right? Linux, I do not prefer to use outside of the Steam Deck because it's clearly made for that. It is made, designed, and specifically tailored for that system, and no other. If you're using the Steam Deck without Linux, you're kind of using, you know, an inferior experience that was not intended to be that way. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you're going to really not enjoy it. The performance is going to suffer, the whole UI and the whole system is just not going to be as pleasant or as coherent. It's not going to be as good. And Linux, the benefit of Linux, I think, is where it may lack in features, at times it can make it so an older computer, especially like old AMD laptops, I think, are where I've seen it shine the most. They tend to make those kinds of systems really, have a new lease on life, where with Windows they otherwise wouldn't, outside of maybe a few programs or some systems, because basically when it comes to Windows, either it will work or it will not. There really isn't much in between unless you're talking about Windows 10. I finally got killed. I was wondering if they were going to just hand deliver that shit to me within 3 days. Anyway. Like, come on, guys. You going to kill me? Or what? There you go. See, like, that's more to the point. You're going to kill me. You're going to fucking kill me. Just do it. But no, we can't just do it. We have to fucking waste your time. Linux and, like, the Steam Deck, that's really the only place I can see it shining, aside from maybe old laptops. Like, you want to give a new laptop, or an old laptop, a new lease on life. Even better a solution, I think, would be just putting Android on a laptop with something like Prime OS, because the games are a lot better to run and a lot easier to run. And if you wanted something that's like Steam OS, but you didn't want the Linux, bullshit, and the configuring and all of that nonsense. You just wanted something that's super simple and easy, like Windows, but with the benefits of Linux. I would say something like PrimeOS would be an excellent alternative. Android is one of the most, supported operating systems that would give you a very excellent and familiar experience just on a different platform, but it's not something that anybody really talks about, or if they often do, it's so sparingly that I've barely ever fucking heard it. But it's an excellent idea. Also, this gun's ammo count sucks, but otherwise it's pretty decent. And you can play games that are, pretty good looking, because mobile games have gotten pretty good looking in the past, 10 years especially. People are outright using like emulators on Android phones and tablets to run Battlefield 3 and full PC games, but that kind of defeats the whole magic that I think Gameloft had, where, Gameloft, if you're aware, they used to make these like en masse. They would just make tons of rip-offs of whatever the popular PlayStation 3 game was at the time, and then proceed to just, put it on an iPad, because the companies didn't do that. Most of them didn't anyway. Like it kind of just wasn't common practice. You don't have your Call of Duty mobiles like you do now. Like you'd maybe have your movie tie-in games, and those were pretty good. Like there were some good Iron Man games on there. There were a few good Captain America ones. Batman and Spider-Man, obviously, because they seem to get a lot of the gaming attention. Um, when they made those games, they were actually pretty decent. But the thing that they did, aside from just like ripping it off, was they added new stuff too. Like it wasn't just a one-to-one remake or reskin of something that was done on a console. Like there was this game that's supposed to be kind of like, I don't know, Max Payne, but you're playing as a cop, busting dudes doing drugs or whatever in kind of like Los Angeles. Well, it was called 9mm, and the whole thing, was great. It's about like dirty cops using drug money to stop more crimes or whatever, but then, nobody finds out or anything. It's just like, they've reappropriated the drug money, pocketed it to put it back into stopping crimes, and then there you have to help this dude and his family or whatever. It's a fun game. But what I like is they didn't just rip off Max Payne. They added all kinds of shit, original music, set pieces, voice acting. They clearly went above and beyond to try and tell something that was, maybe not unique, but done with excellent presentation and on a format and on a platform that had simply not been done, or otherwise not done to that degree, with that level of, production value. It's what I think made Halo and games like Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 2 here as well so good. Was, yeah, you had games that did large-scale combat, but you didn't have them to the degree that Battlefront or Battlefield were doing them, and with the, innovations and the sort of responsiveness. It was usually like some hardcore military simulator game, or some story game or whatever, which, Tom Clancy or whatever, stuff like that. It's fine, but it doesn't really give you the sense of fast-paced action movie action, which I kind of like, because at some point it has to be a game, but I don't want it to be so fast that it's like Unreal Tournament or Doom, where it just becomes insanity. Like there's a good balance, there's a good middle ground where you could meet these things, and I definitely think the next evolution was mobile games, and it was just something that everybody just, for the most part, forgot. You still have a lot of mobile companies, Gameloft as well, but what really ruined these innovations was just the terrible business models, like horrible fucking business models. I get you want to make money, guys, but you could also maybe make it so I don't pay for something that's fucking me over sideways and proceeding to destroy the very idea of the convenience that you have created in the first place. Like, you've undermined the whole point of making this thing that's fast and convenient by proceeding to put a bunch of barriers, roadblocks, and energy timers on it. Why would you put an energy timer on it? You think that's going to incentivize me to want to play your game because you stopped me from being able to play your game unless I pay money? All that's going to end up doing is making me not want to play your game because you don't want me to play it anyway. It's just stupid. Or, oh no, make sure to watch an advertisement so you don't die. I already died, so I don't really care. Though that's the thing. I think the advertisements, if companies felt that they must put stuff in there to monetize a game, don't put it in a game that's already going to cost me money. You know, if you need to make a free-to-play game to then fund all of your other paid games, yeah, that's fine. I can understand that. Nothing in life's free. But hey, getting killed by a grenade is free, right? Nothing in life is free except getting fucking shot and brutally executed on a bridge in Los Angeles. Shit. Oh, excellent spawn here, Battlefield. You spawned me right in front of the fucking... the entirety of the ballas here in the Grove Street. Son of a bitch. Okay, good, he's not there. Time to run. Got him. But yeah, like the whole thing with the mobile stuff is it didn't really only... I think it only took till now for a lot of people to just turn heads because Valve decided to do it. Not because they would have done it on their own. I'm somebody who really loved what Windows 8 was trying to do, but felt like just the implementation of it was awful. Because it was. Bye-bye, bitch. The implementation of it was awful because Microsoft just doesn't understand how to keep things simple. Like, they tried. They tried to keep things simple, but they just don't get it. The way you keep things simple is by ensuring that if you want to have a tablet, right, you don't need a table to properly hold it. The thing with the Surface tablets is that they're heavy as shit. Because people are comparing them to an iPad, which, yeah, that makes sense. They're going to, because that is what Apple has already set up and decided to do. Ram him. Oh, you fucking missed. Bitch. And you got killed. Excellent job. Well, join in there, bud. Get some ammo. Another rocket, would you? Thank you. Windows 8, I liked how fast the user interface is, especially now if you've got a good computer that can run Windows 8. And the only thing that really undermined it, aside from the apps, which you could remove the store and all that stuff too. It's not hard. The only thing that really undermined it was kind of just how Windows 7 was like so much better, and why would you want to use a second-rate lockdown version of Windows, right? Was the thing with, say, like Windows RT especially. But Windows RT was confusing because people just assumed that it and Windows 8 were the same thing when they fundamentally were not. You shouldn't have to play guessing games and whack-a-mole with whatever you're buying in order to have a basic idea of what the hell you're even getting. Coupled with the UI just not being particularly good, and, you know, forced updates, doing things against what you have decided upon, you can all just turn it off at the start, but they're kind of assuming anybody would want to do that in the first place, which they don't. They just don't want to update. Because the attitude of constantly updating your shit because we're too lazy to actually get it done at the time we sell it to you had not been normalized because people had standards, right? The problem kind of eventually boiled down to them taking advantage of this experiment that they had been unknowingly for us creating and doing to us, and deciding to use that with, say, Windows 10 to completely overthrow over, ownership over what you've purchased and just deteriorate the product as the updates went along. With Windows 8, the updates actually were it was the last time I would say they were making something that was, clearly pure of heart. Like, it was something they didn't have sinister intentions for, or if they did, it wasn't obvious what those really were yet. But it was obvious to me they were attempting to make their own, like, ecosystem, and I like that. I like that idea, because Windows is everywhere. Why not put it in a tablet, too? If Apple can do it, why the hell can't we? Well, that's a good idea. I think that is an excellent idea. I think that is exactly the place that more computers should have gone, because that is where technology was going. The touchscreens are an excellent way for somebody who's never used a computer to get into computers. If you don't know what you're doing, just touch it. Hell, it removes the whole keyboard and mouse thing. The keyboard and mouse, I think, and that with the controller and like Kinect, right? Their issue was calling it a barrier when it simply was not. You can understand a controller. It's got like 7 buttons on it. That's not hard to understand. That's not a barrier. What a barrier is the way you have talked about it and the attitude in which you have, conducted yourself while attempting to sell something that is new. You're trying to undermine what you've done before and call it bad. That's what people don't like. No, people like their fucking Windows computers. Why do you think they still use Windows 95 even after, years and years of it being abandoned? I still see tons of videos of people using Windows 95. I see all their crazy like Windows XP setups. I got a friend of mine who uses a Windows XP computer to play Grand Theft Auto to this day, the real one, not just this mod. Because it's handy to have around. It's a good tool. And Microsoft's inability to, or otherwise lack of desire to empathize with people who had already made these things was what undermined their innovation. Because they weren't building. That was not growing. You cannot grow, but at the same time, try to undermine what has come before, because all that does is incite and instill defiance and, disruption into what you're trying to sell. With the whole touchscreens thing, the big boxes and that UI was great for it. And I think if they had put that on like the Xbox 360, it would have been even better. Or like the Xbox One. Just keep the Windows 8 start screen for the Xbox One, because I love how much information you're seeing here. I love how much shit you're seeing. I would love to be able to make my own start screens and other stuff. That's a good user interface design for a tablet or a game console. But, for a computer, it's confusing. It's ass backwards. It's not intuitive. And it isn't what anybody wanted. And to this day, you still got people who are pissed off about this shit, mostly because it just never went away. They, when it failed with Microsoft, YouTube, all these other companies started shoving it down our throats even more. Nobody wants this shit. Yet companies insist upon it just being everywhere, regardless of if it works or not. They don't care what works, they just care about making money. If that means you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, they don't give a shit. They will, and they can and they will destroy everything that you hold dear. Because they have no sentiment over it. They have sentiment over the dollar bills they get in the bank. That's what they care about. They care about spying on you and all of this shit because it gives them money. Gives them power. See if I can hip fire. I got pretty close. There was no compromise. I mean, clearly they knew better. But I think the best thing that you can do now, especially if you want to even get into that ecosystem, is, don't buy any of those devices because Microsoft so thoroughly screwed them up. What you can do instead is get like an Android device and then just use like an app like Launcher 10 or Square Home, and then you can get Windows 10 mobile on an Android, which is a much better platform. If you wanted to use Windows 8, I would instead advise that you use Prime OS and then just make it look like Windows 8, because you'll end up having a much better experience instead of destroyed apps and, 404 error page not found simulator, because that's all you're going to find over there. You're going to find regrets and unfinished, non-working, non-functional turds of software. Unless, of course, you're playing old Windows 7 games, then in which case, that's the best part of it, is the desktop. If you're not trying to use Windows 8 as a mobile experience, then it's actually pretty good. I think that's the thing that people totally swept under the rug because they got so pissed at that menu, is they actually made a lot of really good improvements. I think the stability was probably the best thing that stuck out to me, was just how fast it was thanks to them removing all of that shiny arrow stuff. I like the way it looks, but I do not like that performance. It is awful. It's a lot better, though. I love the colors in Windows 8. It's very colorful. This was right before they screwed it all up with Windows 10. Now, Windows 10, though, in that case, if you're like me, you can still use the Arrow Light theme and get something that basically one-to-one is like Windows 8. It's a theme that they kept in, I think, as far back as Windows Vista, because they knew people couldn't run this effect. It was just too demanding on their hardware. So what they did was they created a more colorful, flat version of it that would work. It's pretty awesome. And you can use something like WinArrow Tweaker to enable it, but there we go. We win. Ow. That was a 1-hour gaming session. My ass hurts. I think from the ashes of what Microsoft and a lot of these old games tend to leave behind, you can find something of use. See, one thing I really like about these games is how, even though they might not have the best controls, they were at least attempting to be very original and unique. They were doing things that were not done at that time, and I think the technology held them back for sure. But once the technology was no longer a barrier, or at least as much of a barrier, with the Xbox 360, that's where it really shined. Though later on in that generation, I think the issue more so came down to, is this colorful and fun, right? Because too many games just look depressing, like depressing, drab, devoid of color, bereft of a lot of life and happy stuff. I liked a lot of that as well. But I could see how somebody would become annoyed by the same crashing helicopters, barrels exploding, and guns shooting all the time. It's like too much cake and ice cream. It's not good for you. Too much sugar is bad for you. But it went on for a long, long time. Just kind of like I am. I'll have to talk about Windows 8 another time for sure, though. But thanks for watching.